chanting the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures and portions to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to the next session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who are joining the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Das Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, the last pranams to you and all devotees here. This is all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Ekaradika Lula Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Ekaradika Lila Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manjari Leela Devidasi from Nepal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manjari Leela Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. And congratulations, Mataji, and good wishes and prayers.
Thank you so much. Please keep me in your prayers, Mataji, that I can search for Prabhupada's mission and follow my Guru Maharaj's instructions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful name, Mataji. Very beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, all glories Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Ghana.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, this is Kamliki Dasi from Baltimore. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna, Kamudiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call and giving your association. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shama Guru Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Guru Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you too.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devidasi from Lincoln. Hearty congratulations to Yashamati Priya Mataji and Manjari Leela Mataji on their initiation.
Oh, Yashamati Mataji also. Hare Krishna. Congratulations, Mataji.
Mataji, they are mother and daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
They both got initiated together. How amazing.
Very nice. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Indulekha Karna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much, Indulekha Mataji and you, Mataji, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. And just please prayers, keep in prayers that we can do spiritual progress more and more. And we can fulfill the Srila Prabhupada's desire.
Some prayers, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas, to the Prabhupada, to the Gurudev Ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Vanda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji.
No, Mataji, I already introduced myself, but I was wondering if we can do a Hari Bol 3 times for Yashoda Mataji and her daughter for initiation.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much.
Devotees, Hare Krishna, feeling very, very blessed. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my dandavats. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to the assembled Vaishnavas. Vasundhara Devi Dasi from Bangalore.
Hare Krishna Vasundhara Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay, I welcome all of you once again. Thank you everyone for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Gaurvilas Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 6.19.7 onwards. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji for the brief introduction. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat. Over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So this morning we have with us His Grace Gaurvilas Prabhuji. Prabhuji came to Krishna consciousness in 2004. He earned a MBBS degree from Grant Medical College. And Gaurvilas Prabhuji joined the ashram in 2010 and was initiated as a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2012. Gaurvilas Prabhuji preaches in various medical and engineering colleges. Excuse me. He also conducts programs for doctors at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and in corporate environments. He is a teacher of Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav courses, and he also conducts congregational programs in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Gaurvilas Prabhuji has done thorough studies of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we're so fortunate to have him with us today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that brief introduction. It looks like Prabhuji is yet to join. Anybody would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Bala.
Hare Krishna Balavrinda, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association in this Bhakti Sangha conference call. We just finished with the introduction, Prabhuji. I hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pitarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya
Hare Krishna, is it stuck for me only or?
Yeah, it is for everyone, Mataji. Even I thought my computer.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we lost you.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, am I audible now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome everyone to the Bhagavatam class. So thank you for giving this opportunity to serve. We are discussing from 6th canto. We are on chapter 19, performing the Pumsavan ritualistic ceremony, and today we'll be discussing verse number 7, right? Yeah. So this verse is in a prose format. So I'll just read the translation. My Lord Vishnu, full in 6 opulences, you are best of all enjoyers and the most powerful. O husband of Mother Lakshmi, offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are accompanied by many associates, such as Vishwaksena. I offer all the paraphernalia for worshipping you. One should chant this mantra every day with great attention while worshipping Lord Vishnu with all paraphernalia, such as water for washing his feet, hands, and mouth, and water. Offer him various presentations for his worship, such as garments, sacred thread, ornaments, scents, flowers, incense, and lamps. Purport: this mantra is very important. Anyone engaged in deity worship should chant this mantra as quoted above, beginning with Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya. Hare Krishna. So this is the 6th canto going on, 19th chapter. And in this chapter, Diti was explained by her husband Kashyap Muni how to perform Pumsavana Vrata. Because Diti, she wanted to take revenge. And she was given this Pumsavana Vrata. So actually this Pumsavana Vrata was worship of Lord Vishnu basically. And because Diti was very sad and upset because Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, her two sons were killed by Lord Vishnu. And she held Indra responsible for this. So she approached her husband, and Kashyap Muni, he was very pleased by her very, very loving and nice behavior. And he said, okay, what do you want? So she said, I want a son who will kill Indra, or I want to destroy Indra. Kashyap Muni, he became a little upset hearing this request, and he kind of tricked Diti by giving a process of devotional service. And because he knew that devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu is so very powerful that it can destroy and purify all the unlimited desires, the sinful desires, the enjoyment tendencies, everything can be destroyed by the process of devotional service. And Lord Vishnu and Kashyap Muni was very much aware of it. So he described very nicely that you follow this vrata and whatever you want, you'll get. So Shukdev Goswami, as he told this story to Parikshit Maharaj about this Pumsavana Vrata. So Parikshit Maharaj in this chapter, he asks, I want to hear about more. What is this Pumsavana Vrata? And then Shukdev Goswami starts describing this Pumsavana Vrata in this chapter. And he says how on the what the person should do on the first day and the second day and so on. How he should or she should pray to the Lord. And in this verse, the devotee should offer this prayer. Oh my Lord, you are full in opulences. You are the best of all enjoyers and most powerful. I offer my obeisances unto you. So basically, what Kashyap Muni does here and will be focusing on is the power of devotional service to purify our unlimited desires. That's what Kashyap did with Diti. He basically tricked Diti. One time, Srila Prabhupada, he was asking his disciples, all the devotees, am I simple or crooked? So naturally, what devotees will say? They said, Prabhupada, you are very simple. Prabhupada said, no, I am crooked. I came to your country and I tricked all of you to Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, if American government would have, if they would have known what I am going to do here, they would not have allowed me to stay here. So that's how the great devotees or great souls, they trick others. As Prabhupada writes in the first canto, 13th chapter, when Dhritarashtra quits home, Sanjay says, oh, these great souls have cheated me, mushitos me mahatma bhi. And Prabhupada writes a wonderful statement there. Great souls cheat for the great cause. And that's how we have been tricked to this process of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, who had even imagined that we'll be practicing a process which is not having material sense gratification, going away from sense gratification? It was unheard of and it was unexpected at all. It was not at all expected, because the entire purpose why a living entity comes in this world is to enjoy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his book Dashamula Tattva. In that he describes what happens to a jiva when he falls down in this material world. He describes a sequence of events which happens. First thing is misidentification. He forgets his constitutional position. Jivera Sarupa Hoye Krishna Nityadas forgets that. So that's the first thing, misidentification. And then second thing is a layer of false ego is formed. He starts identifying with this body. False ego comes in. Shukdev Goswami describes a very nice phenomena, a natural phenomena. In the 10th canto, there is a chapter, Rainy and Autumn Season in Vrindavan. In that, Shukdev Goswami describes various natural phenomena, and he gives so many wonderful lessons. One of the things he says is Nararajodupa Channa Swajyotsna Rajitai Ghani Aham Mataya Bhashitaya Subhasha Purushoyatha. Just like in the rainy season, the clouds cover the sun, but the same sun illuminates the cloud. Similarly, when a living entity comes in this world, this false ego covers the soul, but the consciousness coming from the soul illuminates this false ego. So the two layers of coverings are formed, a subtle body and then the gross body. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhogavancha kare nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. So the pure spiritual ego gets covered by this subtle layer and the gross layer. Subtle layer is of the mind, intelligence, and false ego, and the gross layer is of the body. And the more the gross body, the more a person starts identifying with the gross body, this gross layer, the misidentification becomes more and more stronger. And ultimately, one starts identifying with the self and gets completely bewildered. As Prabhupada would quote this verse many times, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya pranoti nasadu manye yadatmanoyam asannapi kleshad asadeha. Nunam pramattaha. Certainly, pramatta means prakrishta rupena matta, completely mad. Living entity gets completely illusioned. And what he does? Vikarma, he tries to do sinful activities. Why? Indriya pritaya apranoti. Tries to enjoy senses and does all the sinful things. It doesn't even hesitate a little bit. Indriya pritaya apranoti. It's completely entangled. Mad person does not understand what is right, what is wrong. All of us have become mad in this illusory world. This world is illusion in the sense that our attachment to this world is illusion. The world is real, but we start identifying with the world. Tavadaragadayastena tavatkara griham griham yavan mohungri nigado yavan krishna natejana. If a person is not keeping Krishna in the center, all the relationships of family, raga, adaya, all this attachment, they are like the thieves. Stena. They steal away our consciousness. And the person stays in the kara graha. His house, his ghar, griha becomes kara graha. And the attachments become the shackles, the chains by which he is bound. And then he keeps on doing so many things which binds him all the more. In our existence in this material world, we don't know since how many millions of lifetimes we are here. And time destroys everything. But one thing is not destroyed by time. What is that? That is our false ego. Our false ego is not destroyed by time. It becomes more and more stronger on the other way. And that's what Gajendra, he prays. Jijivishena hamiha muya kim antar bahischa vritaye bhayonya ichhami kalena nayasya viplava tasyatma loka varnayasya moksham. He says, oh my Lord, I don't want to live in this animal body anymore. Because I am covered by ignorance inside and outside. This animal body is itself ignorance. This material existence is itself ignorance, and on top of that, animal body. Antar bahischa vrita. I am completely covered. I don't want to live, oh my Lord. Ichhami kalenan. I don't want to live because in due course of time, nayasya viplava. This false ego is not destroyed. Please destroy my false ego. Please destroy my conditionings. Because this is not destroyed by time. So this is the toughest element to get destroyed, our false ego. But Srimad Bhagavatam can cut this toughest element. This toughest element of false ego can be destroyed. Because that's a mercy Lord has given to each and every living entity. And that mercy is called as free will. Swatantrata Ratna. He never takes away that free will from everyone. And the more we use this free will to connect to Krishna, the more this false ego will be destroyed. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsam shokamoha bhayapaha. Bhagavatam describes first canto, 7th chapter, 7th verse. When we hear Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam, the more we hear Krishna Paramapurusha, the pastimes of Krishna, what happens? Bhakti utpadyate, the devotion arises in the heart. And then what happens? When the devotion arises, three things go away. Shoka, moha, bhaya. Lamentation, fear, and illusion. And one becomes really fearless. That knowledge of Bhagavatam can transform our desires. That's what Kashyap did with Diti. He transformed the sinful desire of Diti to destroy the Devtas. And Krishna works such wonderfully. He does it in a very, very subtle way, very slowly. And a person who takes to this process of Krishna consciousness doesn't even realize how he or she is getting purified. That's the power of Bhagavatam. That's the power of Krishna consciousness. That's the power of Vaishnava Sangha. Krishna enters in the life of devotees very small, just like Matsya Avatar. How Matsya Avatar came in the life of Satyavrata as a small fish. Oh, please save me, O king. I am a small fish. There are so many big fishes here. Please help me. Okay, Satyavrata king put that small fish in a jar, brought him to the palace, grew. The fish grew and occupied the jar. Oh, king, please help me. There's not enough water. Okay, shifted it to a bigger vessel. Oh, king, this is also not sufficient. Put it in the tank. Oh, king, this is also not sufficient. Put it in a river. Oh, king, this is also not sufficient. Put it in the ocean. Then he realized, oh my God, it's not an ordinary fish, it's Supreme Lord. That's how Lord enters in the life of devotees. Very small. Lord tricks everyone. That's how all of us have been tricked to Krishna consciousness. I can say about myself. When I was studying, some of the students, senior devotees, they would come and say, please come for program. There is nice prasad there. Nice halwa and khichdi. And as students, we had no interest in hearing Bhagavad Gita and all that. We would go for prasad. I would tell my friends, when the class is about to end, please, call me. Please give me a missed call. Because in those days, incoming call were also charged. And I would go and just take prasad and come back. But somehow that prasad transformed. So Krishna enters very slowly in the life of devotees. Krishna tricks all the living entities. To transform the desires of living entities, it is not so easy. Our whole practice of Krishna consciousness is the journey of transforming our desires from I am the enjoyer to I am servant of Krishna. So that is the whole process. And Lord is doing so much. We may be thinking, I am doing so much to practice bhakti, But just see what Lord is doing for even those living entities who have not turned their face to Krishna. The entire material creation is a symptom how one can be so much generous. If all of you must have heard the second canto and third canto, creation topics are so very difficult to understand, such complex creation. From what comes this and Mahatattva, Pradhan, then Mahatattva, then false ego and Ahankar and all the Antakarana and all the Karanendriyas and Gyanendriyas and all that. Why Krishna has to do all this? He is doing all this to fulfill the desires of insignificant jiva. That's the compassion Lord has. And devotees of the Lord, they go one step ahead to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. So Prabhupada, why he had to travel all the way from Vrindavan to New York, the place where there are no devotees. Practically, the place which is absorbed in sense gratification. Why he had to leave Vrindavan? Just for compassion, he left. Showing compassion. One time Prabhupada was traveling, coming back from a program, and it was a wonderful, successful program. Hundreds of people had come. They were very receptive. And Prabhupada, with few of the disciples, they were returning back to temple in a car. And Prabhupada was sitting in front and devotees were sitting in the back. And one of the devotees, he saw Prabhupada had tears in his eyes. So they were bewildered. Why Prabhupada is sad? Everything went well. And Prabhupada was looking outside the window. Skyscraper buildings were there. So devotees asked, Prabhupada, what happened? Why are you so sad? Prabhupada pointed towards the buildings and said, we should save them. That is the vision of a pure devotee. He's not thinking, oh wow, such great buildings, big buildings, such facilities they have. He was seeing how they are suffering in ignorance. Because externally, however facilities one may create, the troubles doesn't go. The miseries of this world will always be there. And a devotee is always compassionate. And Prabhupada did so much. Yogeshwar Prabhu recalls that one time Prabhupada was in Rome and he was not feeling well, and Yogeshwar Prabhu went to meet Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, what happened? Are you all right? Prabhupada said, when I travel by plane, the pressure inside the plane gives me problems in my knee, but I don't talk about it. I don't tell this to anyone. So many things, so many health problems Prabhupada had, but still he continued, he carried on. Harishwari Prabhu recalls that one time Prabhupada called him and Prabhupada gave him his tooth. One tooth had come out. And Prabhupada, just in a very joking mood, Prabhupada said, oh, there is a gift for you. And he gave that tooth. So Harishwari Prabhu, he was very obliged. At the same time sad because Prabhupada must be in great pain. So he gave some medicines and then he came out and saw that the tooth had a big cavity. And there were small particles of food grains in that. And that means it was an infected tooth. That means Prabhupada must be in great pain. But all the days, Prabhupada never complained, never said one word about it. So that's how the devotees, they do so much to transform our desires, to purify our desires. They are going through so much pain. And that is how Lord is so very compassionate. That's how devotees are so very compassionate. And the more we get purified, the more we realize, I don't want anything of this world. As Vritrasur he prays, Nanaka prishtam na chaparameshtyam na sarvabhaumam na rasadipatyam na yoga siddhir rapunarbhavam va samanjasatvam virahaya kankshe. Oh my Lord, I don't want Brahmaloka. I don't want heaven. I don't want rasatal. I don't want mystic siddhis. I don't want anything of this world. What do you want then? I just want to serve you. That is the transformation which we are expecting. And that will happen by the process of Krishna consciousness. The more we hear, the more we get purified. There is no other way. While we are chanting, we have to hear. While we are hearing Bhagavatam, we have to hear. Be present. Chanting attentively means being present, living our life in the present tense, not in the past, nor in the future. Our mind always goes either in the past or in the present or in the future. It doesn't stay in the present tense. And our whole endeavor is to keep the mind in the present. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchala astiram tatastito niyamyetat atmanyeva vasham naid. Wherever and whenever the mind goes, bring it back. So we have to purify. And this purification is not so easy. The process of rectification, purification of desires, it is not so easy. And we go through so many different stages. In the beginning, we just surrender to sense gratification. All of us must have gone through, this stage where, as soon as some sense gratificatory object comes, just surrender. I think somebody is unmute. Can we? Okay, I'll do that. So in the beginning days of Krishna consciousness, we have experienced this, As soon as some sense gratification comes, we surrender. We don't even struggle. Enjoy. Okay, chalega, we have heard, but this is more important. The more we start taking to the process of Krishna consciousness, chanting, anartha vritti happens, and then we come to the second stage. Now we struggle. Sense gratification comes, we struggle, but we are not so strong. We get defeated. First, helplessly, we get defeated. Now we struggle and get defeated. That is the situation many of the devotees are in. Struggle and defeated. As they grow in Krishna consciousness, struggle and get defeated. That is a very painful stage. Because at this stage, we realize, we know that I want to come out of it. I can't do it. I'm helpless. Helplessly, I am getting into sense gratification. I know this is wrong. I know yahi samsparshija bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. I know sense gratification will lead to misery, but still I can't do it. Very, very disturbing stage. Krishna, he is speaking a very, very wonderful verse to Uddhavji. It comes in the 11th canto. Very, very hope-giving verse. These two verses describe the life of a sadhaka, a struggling sadhaka. Jata shraddho matkathasu nirvinnah sarva karmasu ved dukkhatmakan kaman parityagopyanishwarah tato bhajeta mam pritah shraddhalu dridhanishchayah jushamanashchatan kaman dukkhodarkam sagarhayan. So I just wanted to, show you this verse. Can I share the screen? I think so. Okay, yes. So this verse comes in the 11th canto, 20th chapter, 22nd, 27th and 28th verse. Very, very wonderful verses. Our life is spoken by Krishna. Jata Shraddho, having awakened his faith in the narration of my glories. Jata Shraddho Mat Katha. Mat Katha means my glories. And Nirvinnaha. Nirvinna means he is disgusted. Disgusted with what? Disgusted with all sense gratificatory activities. Sarva karmasu. Why he is disgusted? Because he knows. Ved means he knows. Ved dukkha atmakan kaman. He knows sense gratification will lead to misery. But this is a very important statement. Parityago api anishvara. He knows sense gratification will give me misery, but still can't give it up. Can any of you, if devotees can raise their hands if they have gone through this stage, I know sense gratification will lead to misery, but still I do it, Parityago api anishvaraha. I am not able to give up that. And so many devotees are raising their hands. Yes, thank you. That's what all of us have gone through, maybe going through, Parityago api anishvaraha. Now, next line is very important. Then what we should do? Should we give up practice? Should we give up our determination, what should we do? Tato bhajet mam prita, tato bhajet. Still, although he is not able to give up, still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, can anyone tell or put on the chat or tell me what happens? What are the feelings when we can't, overcome sense gratification? Still, we have desires, and I know this is wrong. What are the various feelings which come in our mind? We feel guilty, yes. That guilt is very, very deadly. Yes, we feel frustrated also. We feel disgusted with ourselves. Sometimes we give all the gali, all the bad words to ourselves. We feel embarrassed too. Yes, So basically, a devotee is not at all happy, right? The stage of anartha nivritti is not at all happy. Helpless, yes. Defeated, yes. Thank you. These are the stages we have gone through, and Krishna knows about it. It is not that Krishna is having fun time in spiritual world, Goloka, with his friends, cowherd boys, and the gopas and the gopis, and he is seeing our miserable condition and he is happy. No. Yeah, we don't know how to respond. Yes, all these things come. So therefore, Krishna is giving an instruction here because he knows this will come in the life of every practicing devotee. Everyone will go through this. He will fall down or she'll fall down. Tato bhajet. He or she should practice with faith and prita. He should be happy. Don't be so much guilty. Because when we are too much guilty, when we are too much guilty about our fall down, one thing which comes is we feel, I can't do it. I'm not meant for it. We feel really disturbed. Our mind is really anxious and devastated, and we can't even focus on the basic practices of Krishna consciousness, right? Therefore, Krishna says, please, please, please don't get depressed. As one of the devotees said, somebody said here, depressed. Okay, feel disgusted. Yeah. Guilty, too much guilt puts a devotee into very, very depressed phase. And I think many of us have gone through this. I don't know what to do. I'm so fallen. I am so much attracted to all my anarthas, all my conditionings. How can I do with this? Even after practicing Krishna consciousness in so many decades now, still I have such desires. What is happening? I am so duplicitous. I am hypocrite, right? I'm sure many of the devotees must be thinking, "Ye to mera hi life bol rahe hain," right? This is my story. Therefore, Krishna says, please be happy. My devotee should remain happy. This is a very important statement. Don't give so much of gali to yourself. Don't abuse yourself so much that you can't practice Krishna consciousness. The more we feel disgusted about our faults, the more we think about sense gratification. Very important thing. The more we are guilty about our fall down, the more we think about sense gratification. Because that is natural, that's what, made us fall down. We think about sense gratification. Why? And why means we get all the more attracted towards Maya. Therefore, Krishna says, just be happy. My devotee should remain happy. Tato bhajet. Worship me with prita, with shraddha, with faith and determination. Dridha nishchaya. And that does not mean you become shameless. Oh, that's what I am. What can I do? No. A devotee knows. Veda dukkhatmakan kaman paritya tato bhajetama shraddhalu jushyamanascha tan kaman. Sometimes he is engaged in sense enjoyment. My devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to miserable results. So what he should do or she should do? Garahayan. Simply, sincerely repent. That is very important. We should repent, but don't be in so much guilty consciousness that I can't do it. How can I do this? So this comes in the life of everyone, and if this is happening, that means we are going ahead for sure. Earlier, we would not even think about, okay, what can I do? This is how I am. Now we are thinking about it. At least we know that I am not supposed to do this. We have gone ahead. This is how Maya Devi tricks us. Maya Devi will put us in such a guilty consciousness. We will not be able to say no to sense gratification. All the more we will do this. So we have to understand there is a thin line between guilt and inferiority complex and getting depressed. That guilty should not be so much that we can't focus on bhakti. Repent. You should have a little bit of, we should have guilt, some guilt, but that guilt should not put us into depression. So that's what happens in the life of sadhakas. Struggle and defeat. And then by the practice of bhakti, one becomes more and more strong. And then he goes to his third stage, struggle and success. Many of us must have, gone through this also. Sometimes we are successful, sometimes we get defeated. And the more we practice bhakti and when we get completely purified, effortless success. No problem at all with sense gratification. Just like Haridas Thakur, Maya Devi herself came to test him. What happened? She was showing all her glory. For us, practicing sadhakas, Maya Devi does not have to do anything. Everything is there in the mind. And for Haridas Thakur, she was doing everything. Still, Kaviraj Goswami describes that Haridas Thakur was not at all affected. Wow, how come? Krishne namavishta mana sada Haridas aranye rodita hoila stri bhava prakash. All the glory, all the beauty of Maya Devi was nothing in front of Haridas Thakur because he was absorbed in Krishna's name. That stage will also come. That is also possible. Prabhupada has shown this. Many Prabhupada's disciples have shown this. All the great acharyas have shown this. It is possible. Dinbandu Prabhu, he tells that Prabhupada was lecturing and in Los Angeles. And he said, in one lecture, he said, if you just follow 4 regulative principles and chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds, you will go back to Godhead. I guarantee it. And he paused and looked around and saw the devotees were not so much convinced. He said, I guarantee it. So Prabhupada is giving such an assurance that no problem, just have faith. It is possible. What we have to do, just stay on the process. Sincere, serious, without ulterior motives. That is sufficient to purify our desires. That's sufficient to connect us to Krishna. Otherwise, if we are not serious and sincere, Bahujanma Korayadi Shravana Kirtan Tabutana Pai Krishna Pade Premcham. Even if we chant for millions of lifetimes, we will not achieve Krishna. So, humility is very, very important. Humble, serious, sincere devotee pleases Krishna. Dui bhai bhaktaraj Krishna kripa patra, vyavahare rajamantri hoye rajapatra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling about Rup Sanatan Goswami. These two brothers, they are greatest of the devotees. Bhaktaraj, they have received mercy of Krishna and they are home minister, prime minister. But just see, they are so very humble. Vidya, buddhi, bhakti bole parama praveen, tabu apana ke mane trina hoitehin. In Vidya, in buddhi, in bhakti, they are expert in knowledge, intelligence, and strength. Tabu apana ke mane trina hoitehin. Still, they consider themselves to be fallen. Uttama hoiya hino kori manaho apanare, achire karibe Krishna tomara uddhare. So if somebody thinks himself or herself to be fallen, even if this person is great devotee, it is said that even if we are now very senior in Krishna consciousness, we may have given up all the sense gratificatory desires. We may be very strong in process of Krishna consciousness. Since last 20, 30 years, I am so very steadily practicing bhakti. Still, we should remember what we were doing 30 years before and feel humble. Uttam hoiya hin kori manaho apnare, achire Krishna tomar koribe uddhare. That's what Mahaprabhu tells Rup Sanatan Goswami. Although you are so very great devotee, you are thinking yourself to be humble and fallen, you will surely receive mercy of Krishna. That's the secret of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Humility. That humility attracts mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan, not Kapata Pavan. Kapata means duplicitous. A humble, simple devotee attracts the mercy of Krishna. Not a person who may be very expert, but not humble. That humble behavior purifies our desires. Somebody may say, well, can we be proud of anything in Krishna consciousness? Bhakti Tirth Maharaj writes in his book on Madhurya Kadambini, he says, what is the position of pride in Krishna consciousness? Very beautiful. He describes, how can we honor Prabhupada, Krishna, and all the great acharyas if we do not have pride in them? We have to be proud of our parampara. We have to be proud of our scriptures. We have to be proud of Prabhupada. We have to be proud of Krishna. There are so many things to be proud of. You know, our acharyas, they had tremendous humility and at the same time, tremendous pride. Prabhupada would say so many times, you know, I am so very glad and proud that my spiritual master was such a great acharya. He was Simha Guru. He was very proud. And that pride is required. You have to be proud about our parampara. That pride keeps us humble. That pride purifies our, contaminated desires. We should not be proud about our achievements. We should be proud about Krishna and all the acharyas, Prabhupada. Otherwise, what belongs to us? Nothing belongs to us. Just like Arjun, it comes in the first canto when Arjun returns from Dwarka in the 15th chapter. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was waiting because 7 months had passed by. Arjuna has not returned. What happened? And Arjuna returns. His face is really shriveled, pale, very sad looking. What happened, Arjun? Arjuna could not speak anything. Somehow gathered himself and said, Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina bandhurupina yena me apahritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat. O King, O Yudhishthira Maharaj, Vanchitoham, I have become bereft of that great personality, Krishna, who was my dear well-wisher, Bandhurupina. And because I have lost Krishna, Yena me apaharitam teja, my all strength is gone. I could bewilder even devatas by that strength, but that is all gone. Prabhupada writes, one should not be proud of the borrowed plumes. What belongs to us? Nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna. Tadvai dhanushta ishava ratho hayaste soham rati nipatayastadanamanti sarvam shanena tadabhuda sadisha riktam bhasmam hutam kuhakaradhamivoptamushyam. This is the same Gandiva, same horses, same chariot. I am the same chariot driver. I am the same warrior. Everything has become null and void. Because Krishna has left this world, all my powers are gone. It is just like sowing seeds in a barren land, putting oblations in ashes, and waving a magic wand in air, nothing comes out. Because Krishna has gone, I have become bereft. So the more we understand that nothing belongs to us, all we have is mercy of the Lord and devotees. We are made up of mercy of devotees. Nothing belongs to us. That keeps us humble. That purifies our desires. Otherwise, desire for name, fame is so very deeply rooted. It is not so easy to uproot the desires to have name, fame, that subtle, gross sex life and subtle sex life. Many times we are drowning in this gross desires. The subtle desire is another big ocean. And we see in the life of Madhavendra Puri, he was running away from pride. And we know the wonderful story when Gopinath stole kheer for Madhavendra Puri and he tells his pujari, please go and search out this devotee Madhava Puri, give him this sweet rice. So this pujari, he doesn't know who is this Madhava Puri. And those days there were no social media apps. Chalo bhai, dal dete hain social media pe. Where is this Madhava Puri seen? Tell us. He's in the market shouting, Shira lahayai nama yara nama Madhava Puri, Toma lagi Gopinath khira koila churi. Oh Gopinath, oh Madhava Puri, where is this Madhava Puri? Please take this kheer. Toma lagi Gopinath khira koila churi. For you, Gopinath has stolen sweet rice. He is shouting in the marketplace in the middle of the night. Shirulaya sukhe tumi karaha bhakshane, Toma sama bhagyavan nahi tribhuvane. Oh Madhavpuri, please take this sweet rice and taste it, honor it. There is nobody as fortunate as you. Madhavendra Puri hears, who is taking my name? And then he introduces himself. I am Madhavendra Puri. What has happened? He tells the whole story. Oh, Gopinath has stolen sweet rice for you. Madhavendra Puri is in ecstasy. Then he eats that, honors that. Then he starts thinking, if people will come to know that Gopinath stole sweet rice for me, people will come and they'll glorify me. Thakur mora shir dila loka sab shuni, din loka bhid habe mora pratishtha jani. Thakur mora khir dila. Krishna gave me sweet rice. Everybody will come to know this. And my pratishtha will grow. So what is the problem? We may be thinking, isme kya problem hai? He became fearful of pratishtha. He left that place immediately, came to Puri. But pratishtha runs behind the devotees. Pratisthar bhay Puri gela palaya, Krishna preme pratishtha chale sange ganaya. Krishna preme pratishtha chale. That pratishtha goes along with the devotees. So that's how Devotees, they use, of course, later he used that fame in service of Krishna. So whatever we have, we should use in service of Krishna. That is the way to purify our desires. Even if somebody is famous, use that in Krishna service. As Prabhupada told George Harrison, you are so famous. George Harrison wanted to shave up and join. Prabhupada said, no, please don't do this. You write songs on Krishna. That's how you will purify your desires. So devotional service purifies our desires. Even if somebody has material desires, Krishna is so wonderful. He fulfills the material desires and he purifies those material desires. To such an extent that devotee will say, why did I ask this? That's how Krishna works. He's amazing. Krishna works in the life of devotees in such a way that if somebody goes to Krishna and says, Krishna, I want to become famous, I want wealth, Krishna may give. And he will give in such a way that the devotee will think, oh, why did I ask this? Anyone can tell me any example of a devotee who went through this situation? In Bhagavatam it comes. Why did I ask this? He went with a desire. Famous example. He went with a desire. And when his desire was
Dhruva.
fulfilled.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhruva.
Yes, Dhruva. Yes, correct. Thank you, Prabhuji. He said, oh my Lord, I was looking for the broken pieces of glass, and what I have got is diamond. Sthana bilashi tapasi stitoham tvam praptavan deva munendra guhyam kacham vichinvan api divyaratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. Oh my Lord, I was serving you because I wanted sthan, I wanted a position. But now after seeing you, I've realized I was looking for broken pieces of glass. And the more we advance in Krishna consciousness, the more we get purified, the more we get this understanding. What I'm asking for everything of this world is broken pieces of glass only. All the name, fame, money, position, pride, fame, everything. It will not give satisfaction. The more we catch hold of that broken pieces of glass, the more it will cut. It will bleed all the more. And the more we take shelter of Krishna, the more we'll realize the futility of this material existence. So there is no other way than to be serious in the process. The more we become serious, and serious doesn't mean you move around with a big face, oh, I'm serious devotee. I don't make jokes. I'm grave, I'm serious. No, not like that. Serious means you understand the very, very important thing to be present and attentive in the process. That is seriousness. To be present. Whatever we are doing, we try to be present. We are attending kirtans, try to be present in kirtan. Try to hear the holy names. We are standing in front of the deities, try to be present. Pray to the deities. While we are chanting, try to be present. That is seriousness. So that is what, we have to always remind ourselves. And that's what Kashyap Muni is doing with Diti. He gave her a process by which she gets really purified, even without her understanding. Without her understanding, she did that and she was purified. Can you imagine what will be the result if somebody understands and does it? Mriyamano harer nama grinan putro pacharitam ajamilopi gadhama kimuta shraddhaya grinan. Mriyamano harer nama. While suffering at the time of death, Ajamil chanted Hare, the holy names of the Lord. He did not chant the name of Lord. He was chanting his son's name. Grinan putro pacharitam. But Ajamilopi agad dhama. He returned back to Godhead. Of course, he was given a second chance. He utilized that chance. He went back. Kimuta Shraddhaya Grinan. What if somebody faithfully, sincerely, regularly, inoffensively chants? What is the doubt he will not return back to Godhead? That is a faith we should have. So Chakravarti Thakur gives a very beautiful understanding on this verse. He chanted without faith. Ajamil chanted without faith. What if somebody chants with faith? All of us are chanting, we have that faith. We have pure faith. Our faith may be very weak, but it is pure. Pure faith means we are not practicing bhakti to get name, fame, prestige, adoration, distinction. We are not practicing bhakti to, prove ourselves better. The desires may be there, but our intention is not there. Intention is more important. Are we doing bhakti for that? No. The desire may come up. That means we have pure faith. If we chant with faith, what will happen? He chanted without faith. He chanted while dying. What will happen if one chants while living? He chanted to indicate his son. What will happen if one chants to indicate the Lord? Ajamil was more sinful. What will happen if a sinless person chants? We can't even realize what are we getting into. How much fortunate we have become just by taking to this process of Krishna consciousness. What we have to do is just remind ourselves of our fortune and continue practicing, and we'll get purified of our anarthas in due course of time. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Anybody has any questions?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very complete class that we came understand that humility is the base that is there in our hand, that we should practice progress in the spiritual path. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I request Shivakumar Prabhuji, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and Dr. Prabhu. Prabhu, thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
so much. Thank you so much for today's class, Prabhu. It is such class where at least my faith kind of gets restored in the process, Prabhu. So thank you so much for all your words and insights. Prabhu, one question, Prabhu. I'm just a new devotee, kind of practicing for a few years. And this is what I feel, Prabhu. I just wanted to kind of run through and see if my understanding is correct or what is lacking there. If I have to compare my life in Krishna Bhakti, Prabhu, against before coming to KC, I feel there is immense satisfaction in Krishna Bhakti, but I don't feel a pleasure or joy, Prabhu. Whereas the life before KC, I feel there was pleasure or joy, but the satisfaction was completely missing. So just wanted to hear if this is a right understanding or why do I feel this way.
Hey, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for telling my heart also. One question to you. Have you ever felt, sometimes you must have felt some joy, or it was like all dry in Krishna consciousness?
True, Prabhu. I do feel there is pleasure or joy, but looks like the mind is still kind of is attached to the definition of sense gratification as the pleasure or joy. Is the problem that I see. It's not able to come out of that mindset.
So basically, that is the sadhana bhakti, where we have no taste for practices of Krishna consciousness, but still we do it. At sadhaka, how many of us we sleep thinking that, wow, next day morning I have to chant Hari Bo, it will be a wonderful experience. Any of us go through that? Some of you maybe, but I have never experienced that. Yare kal subah I have to chant, wow, wonderful. Still we get up, still we chant, because we have understood it. Okay, scriptures are saying, Guru is saying, Prabhupada has said this. So, whatever good experience we get in Krishna consciousness, we should cherish them, we should write it down. Because Maya Devi, what she does is, she just completely shows us a negative picture. She says, nothing is going to happen. You are wasting your time here. You are not enjoying sense gratification, and you are not having bliss of Krishna consciousness also. Why are you wasting your time? At least get something. That is her job. So what we have to do is we have to just keep on understanding the instructions and philosophy and be with devotees. The more we understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the more we'll become strong. Siddhant baliya jeev chitte na karo alas iha hoite Krishna lagi sudrida manas. You should not be lazy in understanding the philosophy. We are not sentimental devotees. We should have sentiments for Krishna. We should not become sentimental. And will not become sentimental if we understand the philosophy. Why I am practicing? What is the purpose? What will I get? What should I expect? Many times we expect too much out of our practice. And that's what creates such a tension. We are expecting too much. We have just started practicing few years back, and we are expecting my anartha should go immediately. Now I should be happy, and I should be chanting and dancing in ecstasy. And evam vrata so priyanama kirtya jatanurago drutachittochai hasatyati raudati roti gayan. These are the stages mentioned in Bhagavatam. A devotee is in bhava stage. He is sometimes laughing, dancing, singing like a madman. And we will be thinking, wow, when will I experience that? Wait a minute. There's a long way to go. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Kabe habe bolo se dinama raparada buchi shuddhana me ruchi kripa boli habe hridaye sanchar. He says, when will that day be mine? When I'll chant the holy names of the Lord in ecstasy. Kabe navadvipe suradhuni tate gaur nityananda boli nishkapate nachiya gaiya berai bo chute batuler pray chhadiya vichar. When will I chant the names of Gauranga and Nityananda on the bank of Ganga in Navadvip without considering all people of this world? So we have to understand that we are on the right path. We should have these aspirations. We should have that patience also. Utsaha, Nishchay, and Dhairya. Enthusiasm, patience, and determination. These three are very important. Saha, Nishchay. Nishchay means confidence. You should have confidence in the process of bhakti. And all the ups and downs, they will keep on coming. We should expect the worst. Even if at the time of death, we may have some material desires, no problem. Still, we practiced our bhakti with the best of our capacity. That should be our, endeavor. I tried my best. I have material desires. What can I do? I can't do anything about it, but I am trying my best. That should be the, feeling at the end of the day. I tried my best. I could not do better than this. I really put my best in my practice today. If that is there, that is success. We should never feel too much guilty about our anarthas. They'll take time to go. And we should not feel bad about not getting ecstasies in Krishna consciousness. Because that is given by Krishna. That is not in our hand. Okay?
Thank you. Please give your association, Prabhu, to all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that question. Thank you, Prabhuji, for that wonderful answer. It's so inspiring. Thank you, Prabhu. Now I request Prahlad Anand Prabhuji, you can ask your question.
Mataji, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I don't have a question, Mataji. I just wanted to give a little reflection about what Prabhuji has told us today. As we all have undergone this process and we have felt this frustration and the depression, all that. 2 slokas have sustained me. I'm 70 now, and I'm talking when I was 28, 30. That's from there I started Krishna consciousness. So those 2 slokas, in addition to those ones of the 11th canto slokas Prabhuji quoted, that came to me quite later, but there's 2 initial stages I'm talking about. Is Neha Vikramanasosti Pratyavayana Vidyate. Bhagavan Krishna gives such an assurance, and that slok says that, whatever I do is going to remain with me, and Prabhupada Maharaj has written such an excellent purport there. Also, there is another slok of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad Muni says, "Tyaktva sadharmam charanam bhujam hare bhajan napakvata patit." I have fallen so many times, but this Narad Muni has given me so much solace that brings little purification in my life, and that's what I can testify at this age of my life, that anyone who is falling off or feeling like, do not worry, just stick to this process. And Srila Prabhupada in conversation has many a time said that you fall down, stand up and do it. Get up. The one who falls down does not get up will not get. But one who has to fall, he falls down, he gets up and continues, will get success. So this is what I wanted to share, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Hari.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing. We need your blessings to continue our journey. We have heard the philosophy, you have practiced it throughout your life. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you
very
Hare
much.
Krishna. Hare.
Done.
Prabhuji, a small question. You quote the shlokas immediately when we ask the question. So I also have that desire, but I don't give time for that. So how to develop that principle? I try to understand in English, but I'm not giving importance to shloka. How to develop taste, and which is the nice way to?
Yeah, there are two ways to remember shlokas. When you like the verse, the meter of the verse, when you like the meaning of the verse. There are two impetus for memorizing that shloka. Some shlokas are nice to sing, and some shlokas, they have wonderful meanings. So, these two things, they give impetus to memorize the verses. Okay, I want to memorize that. And there's only one way, keep on repeating it, and that's what will come. But some people, for some devotees, it is easy to memorize. Some devotees, they put their hard work, but still it looks a little difficult for them. If they can do it easily without straining themselves much, please do it. They are very wonderful meditations. While moving around, while doing your work, we can keep on chanting verses. And if somebody can't do it, no problem. Because Krishna is not pleased by chanting verses. I can quote a verse on this also. But Krishna is not pleased just by memorizing verses. Krishna is pleased when he sees that somebody is practicing those verses. So if we can do it without undue trouble, we should do it. Because they are words of Krishna, they are words of Bhagavatam, they are purifying, they are good meditation. And we should put our endeavor. If we think, "Nay, I can do it," please put your endeavor. Keep on repeating. There's no other way than to repeat, because repetition is the only way to memorize verses. And whenever you get chance, please speak, please recite. They give authority. Whatever we are speaking, it becomes authoritative when we quote verses. Where are you speaking from? And if we can't do it, no problem. And because Krishna understands mood, Krishna understands, okay, this person is practicing. Otherwise, what is the use of parrot-like chanting? Somebody may keep on quoting, but is not practicing. What is the use of that? So, understand what is our nature, what is our strength, and execute bhakti accordingly. Otherwise, Krishna is not pleased by anything externals. So that's how it is. Okay?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are no hand raises. Quickly, we'll go through the chat.
Okay, so we can stop here.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, we can stop here.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam jai.
Ki jai.
Koti Vaishnava.
Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you
Jai.
for your valuable association.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Great for the last
Wonderful class.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Bye.
Dandavat Pranam.
Jai.
Hare Bol.